So probably some of the biggest news that came out last week was the announcement from DC that pretty much Batman: The Dark Knight Returns 3 is going to be premiered by Frank Miller and also co-written by Brian Azzarello. Now there had been rumors spreading around that would Frank Miller be returning soon to do a final one, because he did talk about in several interviews that he would be coming back, and a lot of people assumed that it would be Scott Snyder coming with him, but the announcement that it would be Azzarello is interesting nonetheless. Excuse me, I had to get some water. The big thing with this is that it's, first off, most of you guys know this already, I'm not the biggest fan of Frank Miller's Batman, whether it be, Dark Knight Returns or All-Star Batman. However, let me say this. I do actually appreciate The Dark Knight Returns and what it did for the comic media. And like I said, I really actually enjoy Miller's Joker. As I said in the previous video, I think Frank Miller writes a really freaking awesome Joker. But having said that, I'm not a fan of it. And Dark Knight Strikes Again is in no way a masterpiece. It's a pale predecessor to a pale successor to the comic that defined that had a huge impact on the '80s alongside Watchmen. Again, not the biggest fan of Frank Miller's Batman, especially All-Star Batman, but I will acknowledge with Dark Knight Returns how much of a major impact it had on the comic industry. It really showed Frank Miller showed the world that comics weren't just for kids. It showed that, comics could be, it was the stepping stone to showing that comics didn't have to be, comics could be taken seriously. Now, obviously the other big news is that Brian Azzarello is taking over, and that's, in a shock because Frank Miller's been flying solo on a lot of his stuff, and it's been clearly showing. So, and also the other thing is that it's kind of been unspoken that Frank Miller has not been looking well. I mean, if you've seen recent pictures of him or recent interviews, he doesn't look so good, does he? And keep in mind, the dude's not that old. He's not that old, but there's been, hush-hush stuff about his health. So that might actually be a major reason as to why he has Brian Azzarello helping him. And it could be interesting. It could be really cool to see Azzarello's how Azzarello's writing fits in with Miller's. That's a major element you have to really look at here. Now, obviously with Azzarello, there's a lot of stuff from him I really like. I have yet to read 100 Bullets. Yeah, unfortunately I have not read 100 Bullets yet. However, his Joker and Flashpoint Batman stories are nothing short of awesome in my book. So, the idea of Azzarello playing around with this world of, this kind of world in the, this type of Batman universe that Frank Miller has created is nothing short of, really interesting. I'm really curious to see his, how he helps shape this world. Now, obviously, this story is going to be called Dark Knight Returns 3, The Master Race. And we see in the teaser picture an image of Superman. So is Superman gone completely off the rail and creating his own Supermen or something else? That's really something, because in this universe, Superman ain't too friendly. Sorry, I had to get more water. But yeah, with this, really curious to know what kind of story Frank Miller and Azzarello are going to put up with in terms of the Master Race. Are we going to see Superman create his own race of Supermen, or is it going to be the government creating their own Supermen? We don't really know. I don't think we have an artist yet. I think from the articles I've read, I haven't really seen an artist. Some people have been saying that Frank Miller will be doing the artwork along with the writing, or it will be a different artist. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't really know. If someone could tell me, have they announced an artist with this, or do we know that Frank Miller is just going to, Frank Miller is going to be doing some of the writing and the artwork as well? Because I'm up in the air. I have no idea on that one. So if anyone has any idea, just tell me below. But anyway, not much else I can say about this other than I'm curious about where this could go. especially with Azzarello helping out. So you guys tell me, what do you guys think of the idea of Azzarello helping out with not only Azzarello helping out with Frank Miller on this story, but also, what do you guys think of, a third and final chapter to the Dark Knight Returns saga? Do you guys like the idea? Do you guys hate the idea? Really curious to know what you all think of this on a whole. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.